She stood at the counter, hands trembling, voice breaking as she begged for her own money. "Please, I need this for my kids," she said, but the teller just stared unmoved. Customers shifted uncomfortably, watching the scene unfold. Why would a bank deny a mother access to her own account? Was it a simple mistake or something far uglier? You won't believe what happened next. When she fought back, the truth came out, and it wasn't just about money. Stay with me because this story will hit you hard. Her name was Keisha, a single mom of two, working 2 jobs to keep food on the table. She wasn't rich, but she was proud. Proud of the small savings she'd scraped together over years of sacrifice. That money wasn't just numbers in an account. It was her kids' future, her safety net, her proof that she could make it through the grind. Keisha had been banking with Unity Trust for a decade, walking into the same downtown branch every month to deposit her paychecks. The tellers knew her face, her smile, the way she'd ask about their day even when hers was falling apart. But today, something felt off the moment she stepped through the glass doors. It was a Tuesday afternoon, the kind of gray day that makes you want to hurry home. Keisha had just gotten a call from her son's school. His asthma was acting up again, and the pharmacy wouldn't refill his inhaler without payment up front. She needed $200 from her savings to cover it, and a few overdue bills. She checked her account online that morning, $500 hard-earned and cleared. She walked into the bank with her debit card, her ID, and a knot in her stomach, not expecting the humiliation that was about to unfold. The lobby was quiet, just a handful of customers waiting in line. Keisha stepped up to the counter, greeted by a teller named Sarah, a woman she'd seen before but never really connected with. Sarah's smile was thin, her eyes darting to the screen before Keisha even spoke. "Hi, I'd like to withdraw $200 from my savings," Keisha said, sliding her ID and debit card across the counter. Sarah didn't respond right away. She typed slowly, her brows furrowing, then glanced at Keisha's ID like it was a puzzle she couldn't solve. "I'll need to check something," Sarah said, her voice clipped and disappeared into the back. Minutes passed. Keisha stood there, feeling the eyes of the other customers on her. A man in a suit checked his watch. A woman with a stroller whispered to her friend. Keisha's palms grew sweaty. She wasn't doing anything wrong, so why did she feel like she was? When Sarah returned, she wasn't alone. A manager, Todd, stood beside her, his arms crossed, his face unreadable. "I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson," Todd said, "but we can't process this withdrawal today." Keisha's heart sank. "Why not? The money's in my account. I checked this morning." Todd's eyes flicked to Sarah, then back to Keisha. "It's a security issue. We need additional verification." Keisha's voice rose, not in anger but in desperation. "What verification? This is my account. I've been banking here for years." The room felt smaller now, the air heavier. She could sense the tension, the unspoken judgment from the people watching. Something wasn't right, and she was starting to understand what it was. Keisha's mind raced. She'd never had trouble withdrawing money before. She'd paid her bills, bought groceries, even taken her kids to the zoo once with money from this very account. But now, standing in front of Todd and Sarah, she felt like a criminal. "What kind of verification?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tremor in her chest. Todd leaned forward, his tone patronizing. "We need to ensure this transaction is legitimate. You deposited a large check recently, correct?" Keisha nodded. "Yeah, my tax refund. It cleared days ago." She pulled out her phone, showing the app with her balance clearly displayed. "See, it's there." Sarah glanced at the screen but didn't budge. "It's not about the balance," she said. "It's about policy." Keisha's frustration boiled over. "Policy? I'm a single mom trying to pay for my son's medicine. I'm not asking for a loan. I'm asking for my money." Her voice cracked, and the customers behind her went silent. A young man in a hoodie lowered his phone, no longer pretending not to listen. The woman with the stroller looked away, uncomfortable. Todd raised a hand, as if to calm her, but it only made her angrier. "Ms. Johnson, please lower your voice. We're just following protocol." Protocol, that word hit Keisha like a slap. She'd heard it before, when her brother was questioned for looking suspicious at a store, when her cousin was pulled over for no reason. It wasn't about protocol, it was about her, about how she looked, how she carried herself, how she didn't fit their idea of who deserved respect. She took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Okay, tell me exactly what I need to do to get my money." Todd exchanged a look with Sarah, then said, "We need proof of the deposit's source and a second form of ID." Keisha's jaw tightened. "I gave you my driver's license, and the deposit was my tax refund. Same as last year, same as the year before. You've never asked for this before." Sarah chimed in, her voice cold. "Things change. We have to be careful." Careful, another coded word. Keisha felt the weight of it, the implication that she was someone to be careful about. She wanted to scream, to demand answers, but she knew that would only make things worse. Instead, she said, "I need that money for my son's inhaler. He's sick. Please." Her voice broke on the last word, and for a moment, she thought she saw a flicker of guilt in Sarah's eyes. But Todd's expression didn't soften. "I'm sorry, but without proper documentation, we can't help you." The room was suffocating now. Keisha felt every stare, every whisper like needles in her skin. She was begging, for what was rightfully hers. And they were treating her like she'd stolen it. She thought of her kids, waiting at home, counting on her. She thought of her son, struggling to breathe. And then she thought of something else, something she hadn't planned to reveal, but desperation was pushing her to the edge. "You know what?" she said, her voice low but steady. "I shouldn't have to beg for my own money, and I shouldn't have to tell you who I really am to get treated like a human being." Todd's brow furrowed. "What do you mean? Who you are?" Keisha straightened, her eyes locked on his. "I'm not just a customer. I'm Keisha Johnson, Senior Auditor for the State Banking Commission, and I've been investigating this branch for weeks." The air in the bank shifted. Todd's face went pale, and Sarah's hands froze on the keyboard. The customers behind Keisha murmured, their curiosity piqued. She hadn't wanted to pull that card. Not yet. She'd been working undercover, posing as an average customer to gather evidence on Unity Trust's practices. For months, her office had received complaints about this branch. Customers of color being denied service, questioned excessively, or outright humiliated. Keisha, with her unassuming appearance and real account, was the perfect person to test the system. She'd walked in today expecting resistance, but not this, not being forced to beg in front of strangers. "What are you talking about?" Todd stammered, his confidence crumbling. Keisha didn't flinch. "I'm talking about your branch's pattern of discriminatory practices. I've got files on my desk, complaints from people who look like me, who were told they couldn't withdraw their own money, open accounts, or get loans. People who were asked for extra verification for no reason. I came here today to see it for myself, and you've given me exactly what I needed." She pulled out her phone again, this time opening a recording app. "Everything you've said is on here. Every word." Sarah's eyes widened, and she took a step back. Todd tried to recover, his voice rising. "This is ridiculous. We're just following bank policy. You can't record us without consent." Keisha smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "I'm a customer in a public space. I can record whatever I want, and you're not just following policy. You're targeting people. I've got the data to prove it. Your branch has a 40% higher denial rate for withdrawals by Black and Latino customers compared to others. Explain that." The customers in line were no longer pretending to be disinterested. The young man in the hoodie was filming now, his phone pointed at the counter. The woman with the stroller whispered, "Is this for real?" Keisha didn't break eye contact with Todd. "You humiliated me in front of these people. You made me beg for my own money, and I know I'm not the first."